Oh, wow. That just gave me the goosebumps. That's crazy. Yeah.
Welcome to The Dream Show, where each episode I sit down with someone just like you
I'm in a current phase of pushing myself to do things.
to decode the meaning behind your dreams and explore their connection with trauma, healing, and the subconscious mind.
I do like to watch and see where the dream takes me.
My name is Jesse Lyon, your host, a licensed counselor, certified trauma hypnotherapist, and a dream interpreter. So whether it's a nightmare,
I don't know why, but I knew that he was talking about me. And he comes storming up to the door. And I remember him shouting, "Where is my son?"
a bizarre scene, or something too weird to even describe,
It was so traumatic for me, literally, I have blocked all but this memory.
we dive in and learn to listen to the messages that your mind is trying to tell you. Let's jump into it. Welcome back to The Dream Show. My name is Jesse Lyon, and today I'm joined with Diana. Shout out to Diana for being here and hopping on The Dream Show. She's got some great questions to ask about her dreams. Diana, I wonder if you could do us a favor, though. I'm looking at your dream. I got it ready. It's right here. What if you could do us a favor, though? Do you mind introducing yourself? Like, tell us where you're from, maybe a little bit about you, and how long you've been following the channel, how you got into dreams.
So I live in Utah. I've been married for 20 years. I have 2 kids.
Congratulations.
Thank
No
you.
small feat.
Yeah, we just celebrated our 20th anniversary in Japan, actually, the beginning of this month.
Is it as amazing as everyone says?
Oh, it was beautiful. And it was never like something I wanted to do, but I want to go back now so bad. It was incredible.
That's what everyone tells me. You
Yep.
go and then you're like, oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Congratulations.
Thank you. And then I think I started following you pretty much as soon as I joined TikTok. My entire life, I've been fascinated about the meaning of dreams and could never wrap my head around studying it myself necessarily. But yeah, I've just always been interested in. So here we are.
Nice. Here we are. Did you jump into the TikTok game during COVID like everybody else?
Yep. It was 2020. Yeah.
Yep. That's why I started making videos. It was like 2019. COVID was looking weird. I was like, well, what am I going to do? I mean, I guess I'll make TikTok videos for now.
Yeah.
And then look what that did to me.
Yeah. Awesome.
Jury's still out. I don't know if I'm better or worse for it. So I'll have to get back with you about it. Oh man, that's great. Well, so tell me a little bit about your dream style. Do you experience lucid dreams? Do you dream quite often? Tell me a little bit about that.
I dream all the time.
Okay, almost every night?
Yeah, not almost, every single night.
Wow.
And I've been lucid dreaming more and more the past probably year or so. I'm trying to remember. So it started out, I would just be talking to people in my dreams, and I'd tell them, oh, I know this is a dream. This isn't real. None of this matters, blah, blah, blah. And then it slowly gotten to the point where I know I'm dreaming. And so I'll jump off a building and start flying because I know I can. And
you just kind of become aware in the dream that you're like, this is weird. This is a dream.
I don't even, it just all of a sudden clicks. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm dreaming. So it's
just like spontaneous awareness. Some people test it. Have you heard about reality testing?
I haven't.
So reality testing, people who want to learn how to lucid dreams, I mean, because apparently you're naturally gifted at this. A lot of people try very hard to lucid dream, and it's difficult. But one of the most successful ways that I've heard and I teach people about is reality testing. So you got to test whether you're in waking life or dream life.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so I got a good friend of mine. Her name's Amina. We're presenting together at the IASD conference soon, and she pulls on her finger. If her finger stretches like spaghetti, she knows she's dreaming.
Oh, interesting.
So you'll catch her walking around the conference center. She's just tugging on her finger. Yeah, she's testing whether it's real or not.
Yeah. Oh,
but you just kind of this is dream.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know how. I just know it is. And so.
Awesome. What would you say the ratio is between dreams you don't know are dreams and dreams you're lucid in?
It's happening more and more frequently. Lately. It's come to the point where it's a couple times a week.
Wow.
Versus, before it was probably once a month, and it's just progressed.
Do you attribute that to anything?
I listened to a podcast where one of the podcasters talks about lucid dreaming a lot. and she talked about how she wanted to go visit somebody's house, and so she just spun around, and then she was in their house in the dream. And
Okay.
yeah, so I was like, okay, well, maybe it's something I could do. And before I go to bed, I just think, I don't know, I wasn't even like really necessarily putting a lot of effort into it. I would just be like, oh, that would be cool if I could tonight. And
And bam.
it started, yeah.
Wow. So you've got I don't mean this in like a strange way, but like a very suggestible mind. Like when you
Yeah.
put your mind to something, you can very easily do it. I think a lot of people self-sabotage where they put all these obstacles in their way of just doing the thing they're thinking about. So things, I
Yeah.
guess the word I'm looking for is intuitive. You sound like a very intuitive person. Would you agree?
That's a path I've been working on. I was in
Ah,
an accident 3 years ago where a split second decision saved my life.
wow.
And I've
I'm
had
so
an
sorry.
injury. Oh, thank you. It's actually been a
Yeah.
blessing, kind of. I have an injury from it that still causes a lot of pain, and it's catering to that has caused another injury. Anyway, long story.
That
But
sounds like life. Yeah. It do
yeah,
be like that.
yeah. So, it's kind of ever since then I've kind of just been on this path of trying to figure out who I am, and I know I'm an empath. Like I can feel other people's emotions as soon as they walk in the room.
Hmm.
And so I've been trying
Right.
to progress that quite a bit.
Okay. 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 So there's a bit of truth to this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you dream multiple times in a night as well,
Yep.
or is it kind of like okay, okay?
Yeah.
And are they pretty vivid, pretty visual?
Yeah. I
Yeah. You
can.
see you see any reoccurring themes too?
Yeah. The one, I mentioned one in the dream that I kind of want to talk about. I just kind of briefly mention it because it's not the main point of the dream, but I'm
Okay.
usually running from something in my dreams a lot of the time
Oh,
or
we'll get into
hiding from
that.
something. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Well, without any more suspense, you ready to jump right into this thing?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it. So I'm gonna follow along in what you wrote to me, but
Okay.
just for the audience to know, I think it's
Okay.
really important to demonstrate what we're doing here, of like how dreams can be used therapeutically. Now, of course, this is not for the treatment or diagnosis of any mental or medical condition. It's
Yeah.
just kind of like a show.
Mhm.
But I do want to make it as close to reality as possible, and so I have not read this, and that's intentional
Okay.
because when a client comes into a session, I would not know what dream they're going to be bringing me. So we're
Yeah.
going to work through this live. This is the first time I'm seeing it, first time I'm hearing it. So,
Okay.
Diana, thank you for your bravery. Take it away.
Yeah,
What
you
did you
bet.
dream?
I'm trying to pull it up. Okay, here we go. So in this specific recurring dream, I've had it for I don't even know how long, like 10 plus years. And it's always about a house.
Okay.
It starts out, this house has like 30 plus bedrooms, multiple kitchens, multiple bathrooms,
Big.
but yeah, like huge. But like 99% of them are not used. Um,
Hmm.
and so like in the dream, sometimes I'll be going into a bathroom that I haven't used in forever, and it's always there's a giant tub, and it's filled with old cold water, and I'm like, oh, I should use this tub again, and I start to drain it. Um,
Is the water dirty, or is it just like still
Sometimes
water?
it's like bath water, like you took a bath in it and you didn't drain it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's okay. Yeah, I got some thoughts. Okay, I'll share with you here soon.
Okay.
All right. So 30 plus rooms, big house,
Yeah.
reoccurring dream for 10 years. There's always rooms, 99% of them haven't been used, and there's like
Yeah.
tubs full of water.
Yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
what happens?
Usually in this scenario, like if I go to the bathroom, that's like a different kind of dream. I'll go to like a back area behind the bathroom kind of, and there's usually like an area where I don't even know how to explain it. Like I go digging for rocks often, and so in my dream I'll be like in this area where I can start digging for crystals and rocks, and it's like always very abundant. But it's like not in my house. It's like my house led to this area, if that makes sense.
Sure, yeah, okay.
Um and then in other
Yeah.
cases I'll go behind the bathroom, and there's like this storage area, and this is if I'm like trying to run or hide from somebody. I go through this storage area, and it's usually filled with your typical storage things like holiday decorations, Halloween, Christmas. Those are my two favorite in that order.
Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I keep going through it, and I reach this area that's like a mall, but it's abandoned. And it still has all the display cases and all like the jewelry and the clothes and all that stuff is still there. And I'm like, oh yeah, I should sell this to try and make some money. And I'll walk through it. And usually I don't get through the entire thing before I wake up.
Okay.
Um,
A lot of emptiness. Like, I don't mean that emotionally per se, but just like there's a lot of empty spaces. Like when I think about that internet meme with liminal spaces.
yeah.
They're always empty, and you're walking through a mall or a shopping center or an office building, and it's
Yeah.
empty. Does it give you that kind of vibes?
You know what? It kind of does. I didn't even think of that, but it kind of does. It's also like usually I'm going along and I'm like, because, I'm a mother of two. My kids are older now, but I've spent almost 20 years picking up after them. So I'm usually like picking up clothes or garbage or something as I'm going along because I'm like, kids, whatever. But yeah, it's a
Those
lot
habits
of
die
like,
hard, huh?
yeah, seriously. But
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, a lot of unused space. And then, yeah, I mean, there's more to it. If I'm going downstairs, there's almost always a demon in a room.
Okay.
But I physically can feel it. It makes my body tingly.
Oh.
Or
You
it'll
ever,
like,
you ever caught a look at the demon?
no. I just know it's there, and I'm like, usually I have to go in and I'm like, okay, because it's almost always in a closet. Oh, sorry, I'm shaking my computer.
Oh, you're good. Demon in the closet. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll be like, hey, I just have to get my shirt out of here or something. It's like I'm talking to it, telling
You're
it.
like bargaining.
Yeah, and I'll be like, I'm gone in a minute. Just let me get my shirt. And 90% of the time, it doesn't. I start tingling, and it starts trying to like move me out of the closet or something.
Like with like cyber powers. That's what telekinesis powers? It's like
Yeah,
moving you around the room.
yeah, essentially.
Whoa. How do you know it's there? It just gives you a feeling? Like, do
Yeah,
you see glowing eyes
it's
or anything?
no, I don't see anything. I go and I can feel like physically feel it there. If that
Yeah.
makes any sense.
Hmm. Does spirituality play a role in any of this for you? Like, I know you talked about rocks and crystals and stuff. Like
Yeah.
sometimes that's a big part of people's, spiritual and belief system.
Um, that makes me wonder because up until
Ooh, that's good stuff. Yeah.
yeah, up until 2013, I was part of the Mormon Church. I was a member of the LDS religion, and
Okay.
when our children are 18 in the Mormon Church, they get baptized
Mhm.
to like wash away their sins and make a covenant with God and all that jazz. Um, Literally a month after that, I realized for myself it was all baloney. And my husband
Nice
followed.
word redirect.
Yes, thank
Baloney.
you.
Go with baloney.
Yes, that's something I have to work on. I swear like a sailor, so I'm trying. But so
I'll
like
have the editor edit it out. Put
okay,
some duck quacks.
good to know. And like 6 months later, my husband followed me in leaving the church, and it's any members of the church are going to resist against this line, but it's a cult. Any religion, by definition, is a cult. Mormonism there's a lot of unintentional brainwashing, if that makes sense. And I mean, it's been since 2013, so that's 12 years ago. I'm still working through a lot of that.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. 12
Yeah.
years.
So,
Yeah.
and like, I haven't done it with a therapist, it's just been all on my own because I tend
Living,
to,
growing.
yeah, I tend to hold everything in. Like, I don't want to make myself a problem, so I don't go talk to people about stuff. But anyway,
We're kind of
so,
doing the opposite of that here.
well, yeah, I mean,
Good for you.
hey, you announced that you were doing this podcast, and I was like, let's do it. I've been thinking about it for 2 years, so
Wow, good. I'm proud of you. I'm very proud of you.
thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Okay, so this is a big part of your life. So you find yourself having a lot of religious and traumatic religious roots, and now
yeah,
being outside of that, maybe more agnostic or atheist, but separate from religion.
yeah, I definitely like. I don't believe that there's a God, but I'm not. I acknowledge that there could be.
Yeah, so maybe more agnostic. It's like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, exactly.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, so then, when you think about demons, it's like that's not necessarily a direct spiritual metaphor for you. Demons aren't a big part of your life, well, at least anymore.
Yeah. I
Okay.
used to be terrified of them, but now, like, I couldn't even watch scary movies. My husband literally forbade me from watching them.
Oh, because you get so scared?
Yeah, because I'd get so freaked out, and he'd,
Oh, man.
be waking him up in the middle of the night for the next week, afraid of the demons that I could hear in our house.
It's like,
Now,
Diana, listen, I can't handle this. You got to stop. You got to stop. I
yeah,
gotta sleep here. Okay.
literally. But now it's my favorite genre. So, like, if that shows you
Whoa,
this
come full circle.
exactly. So it's like,
Wow.
yeah, quite the difference now.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. Okay. Is there more to the dream, or should we start here?
Um, that's the majority of it. There are sometimes unused kitchens that I go to and I'm like, oh, I could, there's food in this fridge that I should be using or whatever, but those are less often. It's more the bathroom, the mall, and the demon that make an appearance.
Sometimes a kitchen.
Sometimes the kitchen, yeah.
Okay. Well, but it all kind of centers around this central hub of a giant house with 30 plus rooms, many of them unused, and you're alone, except for the demon in the basement in the back corner who lives in the closet.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what a great metaphor for life, huh?
Yeah. Well, seriously.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, you've heard me talk long enough about some of this stuff. Maybe this is a repeat for you, but houses are one of the most common dream symbols. And so when we think about a house, we use that as a metaphor for the psyche. And I say psyche very intentionally because I don't mean brain by itself. I mean the brain combined with the person, the personality. So some who are spiritual, call that the soul. Other people who are not so spiritual might call that like your personality. Like if you're more scientific, that's like your Myers-Briggs, right? There's the nuts and bolts of your brain matter inside your skull. But then there's also kind of your Enneagram, your Myers-Briggs personality, like who you are. So it's a combination of these two things symbolized by the house. We live inside this sort of mental framework, which is constructed around us. That's our house. And inside this house are many rooms. Those are all different parts of ourselves, all different ideas, all different capacities that we have. Kitchens are about how we nourish ourselves. They're also the place of connection with others. We all kind of gather around food. Yeah. The basement kind of goes down. Like that's our deeper consciousness. That's the darker parts of ourselves. Makes sense why the demon lives there. You get up to, some people have a second story. Does your house have a second story?
Yeah.
See, when you get up to the second story, that's your consciousness. It's much more analytical. The rooms up on the top floor are much more like logic and structure, more that masculine energy. Bathrooms are where we tidy up and relieve our stress. So it's where we cleanse ourselves of the things that get us dirty throughout our week. We carry that garbage and that gook from the, like you said, empath that you take on from other people. And so we got to go in the bathroom and wash that out. We relieve that stress. We let that go from ourselves. And so usually that house, it's dream interpretation. So it's more of an art than anything. So typically though, that's what a house symbolizes for people. It's a metaphor for what's kind of going on inside of our hearts and our identity. I think it's very striking though, Diana, that your house is very empty and a lot of the rooms are not used. And so, I'm thinking about if this was my dream, I wonder what I might be feeling about how the wonderful things I have to offer the world are not being fully utilized.
Okay.
Is that something that you might experience?
Oh, that is a recurring theme of my life.
Yeah, I kind of felt that. There's a lot of things in this dream that I want to talk through, but the striking one was that, well, you feel very alone and underutilized. And maybe that's a feeling of not being appreciated for all the things that you have to offer. And maybe that does contribute to the loneliness, but I'd love to hear how that resonates with you and what this reoccurring theme in your life really is.
I don't necessarily know that it's like not being appreciated. My husband's amazing, and he especially since I've had this injury, he takes really good care of me. He's amazing.
20 years.
Yeah. You don't make it there for nothing.
Oh no, you gotta have a deep love.
Yeah. And it's funny, this is a total digression, but we got married so quickly. We met in May, dated in June, moved together in August, engaged October, and married December.
Am
So
I correct in thinking that's pretty normal for the
for
religion you
Utah
grew
and the
up in?
Mormon religion, yeah, that is very normal. And I was also very young. I was 18.
It's about as young as you could be.
Yeah. So, um, anyway, it's everybody thought we weren't gonna make it because it was so fast and like we didn't even know each other before. But anyway, total digression right there. What was I talking about? I'm so sorry. ADHD is bad.
The not being utilized for all the
That's right.
capacities that you have and the loneliness.
That's right. Okay, thank you. It's not even as like I don't feel lonely. I'm super introverted. I don't.
Hmm.
This is way out of the norm for me.
I was
Um,
gonna say, yeah.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was so nervous beginning, not even beginning, I'm nervous now, but
Yeah, it doesn't show. I would never know.
well, thank you. um but yeah, so not even necessarily loneliness, but more knowing I'm not doing what I should be.
Hmm.
That makes sense.
Oh,
My
tell me more about that. Yeah, is that I should be doing other things, or is it like I'm not living up to my potential?
both of the above. um
Okay.
my job is very analytical, and
Hmm.
it's like I love hate it. I mostly love it because I love the people I work with. I hate
Hmm.
the actual work itself, if that makes sense.
Do you mind
um
sharing what it is that you do?
yeah, I'm a bookkeeping manager, so um
It's
I
about as analytical as it comes. Yeah, you're not joking.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
I categorize people's transactions and tell them how they spent their money. um and it's
Riveting.
just yeah. I watch a lot of podcasts and YouTube while I'm doing it because you will go crazy if you do not.
Well, I
Um,
appreciate your watch hours. Thank you for
yeah,
supporting my channel.
you betcha. But what I want to be doing is very creative. I want to be an author. My
Oh, yes.
and I know like when I took my degree is English creative writing, and so when I went to
Wow.
school for that, I was super passionate, and I was like, in 10 years I'm going to be an author that people study when they're in college. And it has been 10 years and 1 month, and I have not achieved that. And I'm going to be 40 in January, and I'm like, I want my first book to be done by then, and I keep
Hmm.
procrastinating it.
Mm. Hmm. I wonder if your dream has something to tell you about why. I think we might get to it. So, a lot of unused capacity.
Hmm.
Hmm. And so, you being alone, is that, you said it wasn't necessarily a feeling of loneliness. You're saying that's more of an introversion for you. It's like, it's me inside my own head.
Yeah, I would think so. Like, the house isn't necessarily empty. Like, there are other people in it. They're just
Oh,
not
okay,
very
that's new.
involved in the dream itself. They're just kind of there in the background, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. Well, typically when there's other people inside the house, that's other parts of ourselves, right? You've probably heard me
Yeah,
say that
yeah,
before.
yeah,
And so, we talk about that Jungian psychoanalysis concept of archetypes, right? There's these characters that we play, and there's other people are characters that we could play. Like right now, I'm playing, YouTuber, right?
yeah,
Just before this, I was playing counselor, right? When I go home, I'm going to play dad and husband.
yeah.
So these are all characters that kind of walk around inside my metaphorical house. Um, do you feel like you have a bunch of characters that you play, or they're all kind of distant? I'm kind of locked into this one piece.
Um,
There's not a lot of interaction in this house dream.
yeah, there's really the only interaction is with the demon.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Super. Of all the people, great.
right, yeah.
Love that.
Um, I definitely like, when I'm with my kids, I'm mom, I'm that personality. When I'm with my husband, I'm that person, and when I'm at work, I'm the manager. And so I definitely
Oh,
have the different parts that I play in real life.
yeah. So maybe it's not so much that you're stuck in one character, but they're very separated. I have work Diana. I have home Diana.
Yeah.
Is that Does that resonate with you? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Ah, I really wonder what it would look like for them to all have a party in the kitchen.
It would be a crazy house, that's for sure.
Tell me more about that. Like, if you were to imagine that, like, why would that be such a problem? Them all having a party in in the kitchen together.
I don't know that it would be a problem, but
Said it'd be
I'm
crazy.
yeah. And
Yeah,
crazy isn't necessarily bad. It's
I didn't take it bad.
I'm very well, I'm ADHD. I'm not diagnosed. I shouldn't say that, but TikTok has convinced me I am. Uh,
Yeah,
and it's
I am
just
diagnosed. Yeah.
yeah. My dad is, and so like
Uh,
it's not a far shot for me to be. And both of my kids are ADHD, severe ADHD.
yeah,
So I'm like, they had to have gotten it from somewhere, and I'm sure it's me.
yeah.
Um, but it would just be like, oh, squirrel over here, squirrel over here, squirrel over here, type thing where we would all be fighting for the attention of, I don't know, main Diana, if that even makes sense. I don't know.
No, that makes sense. It feels a little fractured.
Yeah.
Feels a little fractured. Okay, well, we got to get to this demon piece.
I would love to, because that's
Let's
the
get to
part I'm
this
like,
demon
why do I
piece.
dream about this?
Yeah. Well, demons, especially if you're not in a space where you really believe in religion and spirituality, like that's not part of your life or your mindset. Demons are very much a projection of the shadow. Oftentimes we are chased by monsters or hunted or being attacked or facing demons. And so that's very much a metaphor for our inner demons. And I really have to explain that because, I mean, the main message of my channel is, I always say it, your mind is not against you, it's just misunderstood.
No.
And I really believe that. I truly believe that there's no part of you or a person that is inherently bad. I think a lot of people get frustrated with three parts of themselves: their thoughts, their emotions, and their desires. But those three things are not things that we can control. You can't control your thoughts. You can't control your emotions. They happen. You can't control what you like and what you don't like, your desires. Those are automatic. They come from deep within us. And we start this war within our heads and within ourselves of being so frustrated with the things that we think, feel, and want. And we want to control that, but we can't. So the brain, either through our culture, the way that we grew up, the trauma that we've been through, it starts to cut off parts of ourselves in order to give us the illusion that we can't control them. And when we cut off a part of ourselves, we take it off and we throw it behind us so we don't have to look at it anymore. And they all build up in what we call the shadow. And that shadow is our demon. And it usually happens because of this trauma, or at least strong criticism within ourselves. I'm an ADHD little boy, and I'm having a good time, and I'm really enjoying myself, and I start to get loud, and I want other people to join, and I'm really feeling my emotions. And then a parent comes along, or an adult comes along and says, quiet down. You shouldn't be behaving that way. You're making me look bad. You're making a fool of yourself. Well, that little boy starts to cut off that part of himself. It's like, that part of me is bad. He puts it behind him and hides it.
Yeah.
And then it turns into a monster in the closet that I've got to negotiate with when I'm trying to get a shirt from the cupboard or from my dresser drawers. If you were going to imagine what that monster, what that demon down in the closet is, if there's a rejected part of yourself, does something start to stand out?
Oh, yeah.
Seems to come pretty quickly to your mind. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
What is that for you? I mean, you can share as much or as little as you care to.
Well, and I don't want it to be like I'm ragging on my parents, because my parents are amazing people.
Sure.
But my mom had her own trauma when she was a child that I fully believe stopped her growth. And so in a lot of ways, she still acts like a child. My actions were directly correlated to her emotions. I was walking on eggshells my entire life. Never felt like I could do anything right. I was always in the wrong. And it still plays a huge, huge role in me today. I apologize probably 100 times a day.
Yeah.
For stupid things, even just like, oh, I'm humming to myself, sorry, like
Hmm.
stupid things like that. And so,
You have to
um,
apologize for yourself a lot.
yes,
The
constantly,
things that you
constantly.
naturally do,
Hmm.
that demon in the closet's pretty big. I mean, I can
Yeah,
see the emotion in your eyes as you talk about it. This has been a lot of pain for you.
yeah,
Yeah. I'm sorry.
it's life.
It is. It is, but it's not fair
Yeah, but
to do that to a
that's
child.
my coping mechanism. It's life. Oh well, move on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I get it too. Like, you're forced to say that because if I was to sit in that feeling and be like, it wasn't fair what happened to me, then I'm directly responsible for the pain that causes somebody else, which is also not true. Right? If I sit there and say, yeah, it hurt a lot and it wasn't fair to me, then if somebody's offended by that, well, now I feel responsible for who that has offended. So I have to
Yeah,
apologize again and say, it's just life. It's not a big deal.
yeah,
And that's not actually how it feels, is it?
no.
No, no, I understand. I understand. So let me ask you this question. Um, I always like to tell people it's never enough to just interpret the dream. The dream always asks something from us, especially Diana, a dream that you've had for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
If you're going to sit down and have a conversation with that demon in the closet, what does it want? What would it say to you? And be
Probably.
honest, Yeah.
I mean, like if I'm, trying to look at it from a non-biased opinion, I'm
Okay.
gonna say it's probably something like stop feeling guilty for everything you do. Stop apologizing. It's what I tell my best friend when she apologizes
Mm.
for every little thing, and I'm like, you don't need to apologize for this. That was nothing. But then I do the same thing. So I
Yeah.
think that's what I would say.
What if you were to look at it in a non-objective opinion? What does it feel like it wants to do to you or say to you?
Um, I don't. It just feels scary.
Yeah.
It just, yeah, like I don't want to acknowledge it.
Yeah. So let's go even one step deeper. Imagine for a moment that you are the demon. So maybe you got to take a deep breath and close your eyes and think about it. Imagine that you're the demon. You see Diana walking down the steps into the basement. She needs to get a shirt. What are you feeling towards her?
My first instinct was rage. I'm not sure
Hmm.
why, but I know that first
That's good.
instinct is usually the best. So
Yes, yeah, it usually is. Usually is. Do you want to hurt her, or what is that rage directed? Like,
I'm
what do you want to
irritated
do?
by her. I'm like
Irritated by
irritated
her.
by her existence.
When you say irritated, I think like get away from me. It's
Yeah,
like, if I got a fly buzzing around my head, it's irritating me. It's like just get away from me.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, that demon doesn't like you.
Yeah.
At least not that version of you. Yeah. Well, maybe it has reason to be irritated with you. What do you think?
I don't know what you mean by that.
Well, I imagine if there was a whole part of myself that I never let come out of the basement, and I always felt embarrassed by and afraid of, and I felt threatened by, I imagine that thing that I've treated so poorly would be pretty irritated with me too.
Hmm.
Because that demon is a part of you, right? That
Yeah.
that vibrant, exuberant, like little girl who's like just having the best time and wants to be the life of the party and bring other people into it, and maybe is like a little bit outside of the normal manners, but is just really full of heart. And then every time she tries to be that way, she just gets shot down and criticized and pushed aside. Well, I imagine that a little demon would start to form, and that demon would be pretty irritated at those people who told her to be that way. But then we grow up and we start to treat ourselves that way. I mean, I know, a lot of perfectionism for me growing up. And now who's the hardest on myself? This guy.
Mm-hmm.
So who am I mostly irritated at? Myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of what I mean.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely like you said, if there's, somebody always pushing you down, telling you to stop or whatever,
Yeah.
you're going to grow resentful towards that person.
Even if that person is you.
Yep.
Yep.
I can tell you for sure. Like I struggle a lot with anxiety, and I tell myself it's something I've been working on, but I will tell myself several times a day I hate myself. And so it's yeah, been my entire life, and it's something I'm 40, I shouldn't feel so bad about myself all the time. I'm going to get emotional. Hang on.
It's okay. It's pretty normal.
So I've been working on that. I'll when I say I hate myself, I'll stop and say, no, I love myself for this and this. And I'm trying.
What is the emotion that comes up when you think about this? Is it sad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks. I don't want to feel this way.
Yeah. Those things are really hard.
Yeah.
Well, it's not natural to feel that way either. It was a situation that you were in that taught you to feel that way. That taught you to hate yourself more than everybody else so that way you could be safe. And so then when you're close to that monster, it feels the scariest and the most dangerous, because it's like, these are the parts of me that I hid, that I cut off from myself. Because if I were to ever let them out of that closet deep in the basement, who knows what they would say about me.
Yeah.
So here's what's funny. You said you like Halloween.
Uh-huh. Yep. Now you can see my coffin
I do.
announcement board there.
Well, there's a reoccurring theme in horror movies, and I'm sure you know it. It's the possessed little girl, right?
Yeah.
I know that you've never seen that demon inside the basement. There's a part of me that wonders if it is a possessed little girl, because the part of you that was hurt the most was a little girl.
Yeah.
And she's the part that you hide the most. And so when we think about recovery, like when we think about trauma and complex PTSD and, the stuff that I work on clinically, she doesn't need to be feared. She needs to be protected. If she's going to come out and be authentically herself, we don't need to be afraid of what she does. We need to make sure that there's a parent there to stand up for her. Whoa, don't talk to her like that. She's a kid. She's having a good time. Look at her. I think about my 2-year-old son. I do that for him all the time. He's always getting in trouble, but he's so genuine about it. Heart of gold, that kid, but he doesn't have good manners sometimes. He's just following his heart. Yeah. It's my job as a parent to protect him, right? I'm supposed to be the one to make excuses for him. He shouldn't have to worry about that right now. It's his job to feel his feelings authentically and fully.
Yeah.
So I wonder if you could do that for yourself. And maybe that's what the demon really, truly wants. And if you were to have that, I wonder how your house would start to come together and how those rooms would be explored and utilized. Man, just think about being an author. How could you possibly be an author when the greatest creative motivation inside of you is locked away in a closet? That makes a lot of sense to me,
Yeah.
You got to be free to express. If you're always apologizing, there's no freedom to be an author.
That's true. I never even connected that.
Again, I'm just getting to meet you now, and I'm listening to your dream and trying to put the pieces together. I'm certainly not perfect at this, but I do have a lot of experience. If I'm wrong, let me know. But it seems like, does this all resonate with you?
Yes, it absolutely does.
Okay, cool.
I don't think I'd be getting so emotional if it didn't.
I appreciate you being brave, being emotional too. I think it shows that it's real.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've been very intentional about the way that we're working through this dream. We got to get to the last piece, but I knew that we needed to do the demon part second.
Okay.
The last piece of the bathrooms.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of tubs full of water, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the tubs are always full of the water, as if someone's taken a bath in them but forgot to take the plug out, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I got a hunch. And if you follow with me, I think we're onto something.
Okay.
Tubs are about emotional cleansing. Water's an emotional symbol. Tubs are about cleansing ourselves emotionally, right? You get a lot of pent up and built up emotions that need to be washed through. But the problem is you go into the bathroom and you release these emotions, you clean yourself, but then you never fully let them go. I think the dirty tub water is very symbolic of baggage. It's like you're trying to let go of this past, but you've never really let it drain out of your house, have you?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely the oh, that's life. Let's go on. Let's move on. I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, you forgot to take the plug out. You moved on too quick. Now there's a bunch of still water. You seen those memes? That's like a whole trend on TikTok. Still water. You've seen that?
I don't think I have actually.
So what they'll do is they'll go into these liminal spaces, like these abandoned buildings and stuff. Is super creepy. They, and they put good sound in the background, like these creepy songs, naturally, right? It's all social media. But they'll go explore these with like headlamps, and so they'll go into like these old schools, and the pool, like for swim class, still has water in it, but it's absolutely still.
Yeah.
And still water, one, is horrifying, but it's horrifying because evolutionarily, we as human beings know that still water is the most dangerous. The amount of bacteria and deadly diseases that grow in water that's not moving, there's a primal fear inside of us because all of the humans have survived know not to drink or get close to still water. So it's this horrifying image that like ignites something primal inside of us. And so I just think about these bathrooms inside of your mansion of a house. Just first of all, mansion of the house, communicating your huge capacity emotionally as a person. I think that's cool. But how inside of those tubs is this still water, and it's like a horrifying thing. It's like, oh my gosh, there's very few things that are as dangerous as the bacteria and viruses that grow in unflowing water, the baggage that you hold on, the emotions that haven't been released from your past.
Holy shit. Sorry.
Wild, right?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. And it's just so crazy that in a single night, your mind shares with you all of this deeply powerful personal stuff about exactly the steps you need to take to get your life back on track. Yeah. But we just don't know the language of what it's saying. Like all of this was in that dream that you had probably this week.
Yep,
and it's just like, whoa, who I am, my capacity, and my isolation in the different parts of myself, the demon and how I've rejected my inner child, which is the key to my creativity and motivation, and how my house is dangerous inside my own head and my emotions because I haven't let go of the emotional baggage, the still water that still haunts my house. Wow.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
That really is. That's crazy.
Yeah. In the best possible way, it's crazy. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I use that a lot.
Yeah. How are you feeling? I mean, this is a lot.
It's like, it's a lot, but it's also like a weight off my shoulders almost. Like,
yeah.
Oh.
You feel lighter, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I really do. I'm so sorry. I need to adjust my position. My injury is yelling at me.
Oh, please do. Make yourself comfortable. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're at a good transition point too.
Okay. Good.
Okay. Well, so working through all that, are there some other things you want to talk about, like the kitchen? I see sometimes there are combinations of houses. We also have the rocks in the backyard that we kind of can talk through. Which piece seems the most emotionally charged for you that you want to talk about next, connected to this house?
One thing I've always wondered about with this specific dream, and I don't think I even mentioned it in the email actually, was there's like junk everywhere. Like, right. Currently I'm in my in-laws basement. We're building a house, but so I'm combining like 4 rooms into one in my bedroom. So like it makes sense for that because I feel cluttery, but this has been going on since longer than I've lived here. And it's always, there's just like boxes and stuff everywhere. And I kind of asked you about this one time on the TikTok lives, and you mentioned you felt like it was self-explanatory, like clean up. But I don't know. I feel like there's more to it than,
There's levels in dreams. Yeah. I remember that. There are levels in dreams. and I've talked about this before, that there's a manifest and latent content. And so if you're in a time in your life where you're moving and need to clean up, that's pretty manifest. That's pretty literal.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
latent content is deeper, though. It's emotional. It's very personal. It's always about ourselves. And so kind of back to this still water in the bathroom, it's like there's also like mental clutter that I need to clear out of my head.
Yeah.
But I want to go a little bit deeper into that. There's two things. There's two things that I want to talk about. The first one's simple. The second one's complicated. The first one is when we have clutter inside of our house, and we've experienced trauma, there's a very interesting connection between, not all the time, but sometimes those people, especially complex trauma, they can end up having some hoarding or OCD kind of tendencies. And that's out of protection. When we're little boys and little girls who grow up and we're not protected by those whose responsibility it is to protect us, we hold on to everything. You know, there was this really heartbreaking study done with little baby monkeys, and they set up two scenarios. One where the baby monkey had a wire mama monkey, right, that had milk inside of it, like kind of where milk would be.
Yeah.
Right. So, but it was cold. It was made of metal and wires, but it could nourish them. And then next to it was a monkey that was, made out of like actual monkey hair. Like it was very soft. It was very plush.
Yeah.
The little baby monkeys would choose to be with the one that was soft and warm and felt protective rather than the one that was actually nourishing. They would actually go hungry because they wanted the warmth and the safety more than their actual biological needs.
Oh, interesting.
And so if you think about that for us as humans, like as we grow up, safety is number one. Like if I don't feel safe, I'm not going to eat. If I don't feel safe, I'm not going to go to the bathroom. If I don't feel safe, I'm not going to explore. And so, we start to create this attachment, right? We're supposed to have secure attachment with our parents, but if we don't have that, we start to attach to whatever presents itself as an opportunity to feel safe. And so we start to create this mental clutter. I got to hold on to everything because I don't trust that if I let that go, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
And so this can start sort of a pattern inside the person. Does that resonate with you at all?
It does. It actually, you were mentioning how you're not going to go to the bathroom if you don't feel safe. I have another reoccurring dream about, I tend to be a little myophobic, like germaphobe, not to an extreme, but definitely to a point where I carry around my hand sanitizer and I utilize it all the time. But I have another recurring dream about going into bathrooms that are just disgusting, and I'm
Classic.
barefoot, and
the barefoot is a new twist.
Oh,
no one's told me that yet.
Jesse, I hate it so much.
No.
I hate these dreams so much because, like, I have a weird relationship with feet anyway. Like, I find them disgusting. And
Feet.
so, yes. And
Yeah.
it stems from being a kid and my mom forcing me to massage my grandma's feet, and they were callousy and I was little and didn't understand.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So it's like I know where it comes from, but then I have these
Yeah.
dreams where I'm trying to go into this bathroom and it's just disgusting. And 90% of the time it's a public bathroom and there's, urine and whatnot all over the floor and the seats. And I'm trying not to step in it and I'm trying not to sit in it. And anyway, so
we're getting there together. Oh my, I'm hyperventilating too.
Yeah, so that dream popped into my head when you were talking about, like, we don't go to the bathroom when we don't feel safe. I wonder if that dream, it has to correlate. Like, I feel like it has to.
Yeah, so the dirty bathroom dream is a classic anxiety dream, but bathrooms, again, are where we release, right?
Yeah.
And so there's two types of release. There's urine and feces. Urine is typically a symbol for releasing stress. We build up that tension inside of our bladders and we release it. We release stress. We flush it away. But feces are very different. Like potty training for a toddler is, Freud talked about this first. In modern psychology, talked about it first. It's been around since humans have been around.
Yeah.
But how the potty training stage of psychosexual development is all about creativity. It's this first thing that a child makes all on their own. It's like, look, I birthed this into the world. I made this out of my body. I created this thing. And so a lot of fear can arise out of that. One, fear about being shamed for it. because it's like, oh, stinky poo poos, yuck, that's so nasty. It's like, but that's a part of me. Don't shame me for that part of me. And then 2, fear is loss, right? You've got kids, there's this
Mm-hmm.
weird thing where when they go to the bathroom, it's almost like, oh my gosh, am I okay? Am I losing a part of myself? They can get scared.
Yeah.
And so that creativity, or that feces is the symbol for creativity. It's like, if I put my creative energy, right, making some direct correlations with your book writing. If I put this thing into the world, will I be shamed for it? And 2, if I put this thing in the world, will I lose a part of myself? And so you can see how the creative process mirrors the potty process.
Yeah.
And so, yes, you have to feel safe and secure with your relationships in order to risk maybe losing a part of yourself by going potty, or being shamed for going potty.
Yeah.
So yeah, it connects. It connects.
Oh, that's so crazy.
Yeah. And so, how did we get on that? What was the part of the dream we were exploring to get there?
That's a good question.
Yeah, you're saying there's a part of a dream that's typically that you didn't even write about in there. Was it the bathrooms that you visit?
No, I don't think it was. It was because those are separate dreams,
Those are separate dreams.
separate reoccurring ones, and the one I was talking about was correlated.
Oh, I remember.
Oh,
Okay.
the junk.
The junk.
Yeah,
And I had a
the
second
clutter.
point that I was going to share with you. Wow, look, 2 of us ADHD together. We're going to make it through this.
All right.
The second point that was more complicated. Yes, I'm back on track. Diana, I appreciate you. The second point to get us back on track, that's a little bit more complicated. So junk, holding on, secure attachment, releasing into the bathroom. Got it.
Yes.
With ADHD, you were kind enough to share that this is a suspicion you have, not officially diagnosed, but you got a suspicion of ADHD tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
There is a part of ADHD that I don't feel like is talked about enough, called rejection sensitive dysphoria. Now, maybe you've been around on TikTok long enough to have heard this talked about before.
I might have, but I don't remember that phrase specifically.
Let's go into it because we're going to apply it specifically to your dream. Okay. Rejection sensitive dysphoria. With somebody who has ADHD, their brain moves very quickly, right? Mm-hmm. Which is in some ways very helpful for certain things. Like if you need to move and problem solve very rapidly, it's great. That hyperfixation is awesome, but it can struggle at maintaining long-term attention, obviously, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
Yeah.
Now that has some unintended consequences. Most people have a thread of their life story that they go through, right? I have good days and I have bad days, and I'm the child of my parents, and I'm the husband, or, well, in your case, the wife to my husband, and so there's all these threads of connection in my life story. Mm-hmm. But for someone with ADHD, it doesn't feel that way. Every moment is its own separate situation, right? I'm here right now. I'm there right now. I mean, honestly, Diana, I'm sitting here talking with you. I'm so invested in this conversation. I've forgotten anything that's happening outside of this room, or the fact that I'm in a building at my office, right?
Yeah.
Each one is very much separated. Now, what happens when somebody experiences some criticism or rejection in one scenario? Because my focus is entirely in the scenario, it feels like my whole world has ended. And so any rejection or perceived criticism is manifold more intense for somebody with ADHD tendencies than it is for somebody else, because I can't contextualize it. I can't just feel a little bit of criticism or rejection here, but know that I'm still loved by all these other people, and that I'm safe, and that I'm going to go home, and that I've got a whole future ahead of me. My whole world has ended in this moment.
Yep.
Yep. So I cannot be in any situation where there's even a small amount of criticism or rejection. It is far, far too painful. Combined with, I don't feel securely attached. I start to hoard. I can't let any of this stuff go. I have to micro analyze every situation that goes on, because if I'm rejected, it'll be the end of everything. So I have to hold on to every memory, every thought, every experience, and analyze it. Well, and Diana, it's mentally exhausting.
Yeah, it really is.
So I think the clutter makes a lot of sense too. The cool thing is, There's how we feel, and then there's the truth that you are this beautiful mansion with more than 30 rooms that can survive many things and has many secrets to be explored inside of it and new mysteries and games to be played every day. It'll never be boring. There's always parts of yourself to explore.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's okay to let the water drain out of the bathtub and to clean up some of the clutter around your house. You don't need it. You're safe. You're going to be okay. I think that might be the message. So your brain asks yourself every time that you sleep, it's like, well, Diana, what are you going to do about this tonight? Are you going to clean it up?
Yeah.
And maybe it could be like, well, yeah, I'll try. Maybe it's time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Beautiful.
I agree. I really like that.
Yeah. You're going to say something. Go ahead.
I was just, and this is how my brain works. I was correlating it to, especially since, I mentioned I'm in my in-laws' basement for right now, and combining like 4 rooms into one. It's cluttery in here for sure. And I saw this thing where it said, if you can't clean your entire room or the entire living room or whatever, spend 5 minutes and clean the corner.
Mm.
And I almost wonder if it couldn't be similar in this situation, but in my mind, like clean up that corner first.
Yeah. Maybe you don't have to write the whole book, but maybe you could just have fun again.
Yeah.
I know you got this goal to like write a book by a certain deadline, but oh my gosh, that sounds like so much school pressure that you put upon a little girl. I just want her to go outside and play.
Yeah.
Just go have fun and document it, and then let other people play with you.
Okay.
I think that's what it's all about, right?
Yes.
It's probably why you fell in love with literature to begin with.
Yeah. It's honestly like there's so much to it. Like you can read a book and, there's just the base storyline, but then you can look at it and there's so much more.
Layers.
And that's what I like about it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's some real feminine energy, like layers, and I mean that in an archetypal sense, not like a stereotypical sense.
Yeah.
It's just like
No, I know.
nuance and threads of connection and relationships between characters. It's a very feminine type of energy. And we all have both. We all have masculine, feminine energy.
Oh, yeah.
That analytical, like analyzing, I need to do this by this deadline and I want to write a book. And that's too much masculine energy for the feminine creativity of being an author.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And that's how I deal with my daily life. Like at work, I make to-do lists and I'm like, I got to do this and this and this and this and this.
It's a very masculine field. Like,
yeah.
Again, not culturally or gender wise, but in the type of energy, it's very much up here, not too much down here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Oh, wow. Yeah, you could use some space to enjoy your feminine. That would be great.
Yeah, it would.
Well, I think I'll wrap up on one last thought. I was very struck by the rocks that you're digging out of the ground in the back. Rocks being dug out of the ground in the back. They're gems. They're crystals, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's treasure. As we dig into the soil of who we are, we find the treasures that lie beneath. And so it's like, oh, if I can navigate through this bathroom and relieve my stress and navigate my creativity, I can get to the back where I can dig through and find the rewards that are deeper within myself, those layers of my psyche.
Yeah.
And then you talk about the abandoned mall where you're selling stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, malls are about choices, And so, you get into this mall and it's abandoned and there's all different stores and all different places you could go to. And, sometimes as you think about your creativity, there's too many choices. And you stop and you're like, okay, wait, I have to analyze all of the choices and I need to organize all of these and assess their value and then sell them so I can capitalize on all the value. And because you do that, instead of just following what makes you happy, you end up waking up before you sell a single piece.
Oh, wow. That just gave me the goosebumps. That's crazy.
Cool, right?
Yeah.
And so I love that all of your dreams sort of like stem from this house. And it's like, hey, here's a piece of your mind you could think about, your choice paralysis. Here's a piece of your mind you could think about your safety and difficulty with rejection sensitive dysphoria because of the clutter. Here's a piece you can think about: the big demon in the basement in the closet. Here's a piece you can think about: the still water of the emotions that you haven't released that are still pent up from your childhood. So it's like every night, it's like a little gift of like, hey, Diana, what about this today? Could you help me out over here? It's kind of cool.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I get emotional thinking that our subconscious, the part that actually dreams, is like that inner child that's just asking, will you please help me? Will you please play with me? That's the part that brings tears to my eyes.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, I don't want to let that little girl down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope that helps. Thanks for sharing your heart, your dreams. I hope it was helpful to you.
I kind of think it is a big help.
Yeah, good.
So,
I'm glad.
yeah.
Well, Diana, as we come to a close, as we wrap up, is there anything you wanna leave with, or shout out, or tell the audience before we close?
No, not currently. If I had a
Cool.
book out there, maybe, but I don't. So.
Hey, stay tuned. Stay tuned. We'll have you back on when the book is written. It'll be
Okay.
an exciting round 2.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, Diana, again, thank you so much for being brave, for sharing your dreams with us, and I hope it encourages some other people who I know ask me about very similar dreams, and I know you're in good company. Thanks for following. Thanks for being here.
Yeah,
I'll
you
see you
bet.
next one. Until
Thank
then,
you.
bye everyone.